Welcome back. Let's read this one.
Boeing 747 SP. Not to be confused with Boeing 747 SR. The Boeing 747 SP, for special performance, is a shortened version of the Boeing 747 wide-body airliner, designed for a longer range. It is the highest flying subsonic passenger airliner, with a service ceiling of 45,100 feet, 13,700 meters. Boeing needed a smaller aircraft to compete with the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 and Lockheed L-1011 TriStar trijet widebodies, introduced in 1971/1972. Pan Am requested a 747-100 derivative to fly between New York and the Middle East, a request also shared by Iran Air, and the first order came from Pan Am in 1973. The variant first flew on the 4th of July 1975, was approved by the Federal Aviation Administration on the 4th of February 1976, and entered service that year with Pan Am. The SP is 184 feet 9 inches, 56.31 m, in length, 47 feet, 14 m, shorter than the original 747 variants. Its main deck doors are reduced to 4 on each side to suit its lower capacity. The vertical and horizontal tailplanes are larger and its wing flaps have been simplified. With a 700,000 pound, 320 t, 320,000 kilograms, maximum takeoff weight, it can fly 276 passengers in 3 classes over 5,830 nautical miles, mi, 10,800 kilometers, 6,710 mi. 1747 SP was modified into the Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy, SOFIA. The last example was delivered in 1987, some were converted to transports of heads of state. Sales did not meet the expected 200 units, and only 45 aircraft were ultimately produced. Development, edit. The idea for the 747 SP came from a request by Pan Am for a 747 variant capable of carrying a full payload non-stop on its longest route between New York and Tehran. Joined with Pan Am's request was Iran Air. Their joint interest was for a high-capacity airliner capable of covering Pan Am's New York Middle Eastern routes and Iran Air's planned New York-Tehran route. New York to Tehran was the longest non-stop commercial flight in the world for a short time. The aircraft was launched with Pan Am's first order in 1973, and the first example was delivered in 1976. A shorter derivative of the 747-100, the SP was developed to target 2 market requirements. The first was a need to compete with the DC-10 and L-1011 while maintaining commonality with the 747, which in its standard form was too large for many routes. Until the arrival of the 767, Boeing lacked a mid-sized wide-body to compete in this segment. The second market requirement was an aircraft suitable for the ultra-long-range routes emerging in the mid-1970s following the joint request. These routes needed not only longer range but also higher cruising speeds. Boeing could not afford to develop an all-new design, instead opting to shorten the 747 and optimize it for speed and range, at the expense of capacity. Originally designated 747 SB for short body, it was later nicknamed Sutter's Balloon by employees after 747 Chief Engineer Joe Sutter. Boeing later changed the production designation to 747 SP for special performance, reflecting the aircraft's greater range and higher cruising speed. Production of the 747 SP ran from 1976 to 1983. However, a VIP order for the Abu Dhabi Amiri flight led Boeing to produce one last SP in 1987. Pan Am was the launch customer for the 747 SP, taking the first delivery, Clipper Freedom, on the 5th of March, 1976. The 747 SP was the longest-range airliner available until the 747-400 entered service in 1989. Despite its technical achievements, the SP never sold as well as Boeing hoped. Increased fuel prices in the mid-1970s to early 1980s, the SP's heavy wings, high cost, and reduced capacity, and the increased ranges of forthcoming airliners were some of the many factors that contributed to its low sales. Only 45 were built, and, of those remaining, most are used by operators in the Middle East. However, some of the engineering work on the 747 SP was reused with the development of the 747-300. In the 747 SP, the upper deck begins over the section of fuselage that contains the wing box, not ahead of the wing box, as is the case with the 747-100 and 747-200. This same design was used in the 747-300 and newer 747-400, resulting in a stretched upper deck. Design, edit. Apart from having a significantly shorter fuselage and one fewer cabin door per side, the 747 SP differs from other 747 variants in having simplified flaps and a taller vertical tail to counteract the decrease in yaw moment arm from the shortened fuselage. The 747 SP uses single-piece flaps on the trailing edges, rather than the smaller triple-slotted flaps of standard 747s. The SP could accommodate 230 passengers in a 3-class cabin or 331, 303 economy, 28 business, in a 2-class cabin, and a maximum of 400 passengers in 1 class. Variants, edit. From 2007 until 2022, a specially modified 747 SP was used as the Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy, SOFIA, Astronomical Observatory, operated jointly by NASA and Germany's DLR. A former Pan Am and United Airlines aircraft acquired in 1997, its airframe was modified to carry a 2.5-meter diameter reflecting telescope to high altitude, above 99.9% of the light-absorbing water vapor in the atmosphere. The telescope and its detectors covered a wide wavelength range from the near-infrared to the sub-millimeter region. No window material is transparent over this whole range, so the observations were made through a 13 feet, 4.0 m, square hole in the port upper quarter of the rear fuselage, after the new pressure bulkhead. A sliding door covered the aperture when the telescope was not in use. Astronomers take data and control the instrument from within the normally pressurized cabin. Originally delivered to Pan Am and named Clipper Lindbergh, the name was displayed in script on the port side of the aircraft. In September 2022, SOFIA ceased operations after the conclusion of its final mission. The retirement was made both on the grounds of cost and suitability for the requirements of the decade to come. The aircraft was later flown to the Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, Arizona, to be put on public display. Operators, edit. Deliveries, edit. 45 747 SP aircraft were built between 1974 and 1987. The production line was ended in 1982 but reopened in 1987 to fulfill an order for the Abu Dhabi Amiri flight. Type 1976, 1977, 1978, 1979, 1980, 1981, 1982, 1983, 1984, 1985, 1986, 1987, 1988, 1989 total. 747 SP 144259644145. Current operators, edit. As of May 2024, there are 2 Boeing 747 SPS remaining in active service, both with Pratt & Whitney Canada as engine testbeds. In 2016, the last 747 SP in commercial service was withdrawn from service after 40 years by Iran Air. Former operators, edit. This list also includes organizations that used the aircraft temporarily, besides main operators. Africa. 1 Cameroon. 1 Cameroon Airlines. 2 Democratic Republic of the Congo. 1 Kinshasa Airways. 3 Malawi. 1 Air Malawi. 4 Morocco. 1 Royal Air Maroc. 5 Mauritius. 1 Air Mauritius. 6 Mozambique. 1 LAM Mozambique Airlines. 7 Namibia. 1 Air Namibia. 8 Uganda. 1 Alliance Air. 9 South Africa. 1 Avia Airlines. 2 South African Airways. 3 Trek Airways. America. 1 Argentina. 1 Aerolíneas Argentinas. 2 United States. 1 American Airlines. 2 Braniff International Airlines. 3 Global Peace Ambassadors. 4 Las Vegas Suns. 5 Pan Am. 6 Trans World Airlines. 7 United Airlines. Asia. 1 Bahrain. 1 Bahrain Royal Flight. 2 Brunei. 1 Brunei Government Sultan's Flight. 3 Iran. 1 Iran Air. 4 Iraq. 1 Iraqi Airways. 5 Kazakhstan. 1 Kazakhstan Airlines. 6 Lebanon. 1 Middle East Airlines. 7 Oman. 1 Royal Flight of Oman. 8 People's Republic of China. 1 Air China. 2 Civil Aviation Administration of China. 9 Qatar. 1 Qatar Airways. 2 Amiri of Qatar. VPBAT was not part of the fleet under Qatar Amiri Flight or Qatar Airways. 10 Republic of China. 1 China Airlines. 2 Mandarin Airlines. 11 Republic of Korea. 1 Korean Air. 12 Saudi Arabia. 1 Saudia. 13 Syria. 1 Syrian Air. 14 Tajikistan. 1 Tajik Air. 15 United Arab Emirates. 1 Abu Dhabi Amiri Flight. 2 Dubai Royal Air Wing. 16 Yemen. 1 Yemen Government. Europe. 1 France. 1 Corsair International. 2 Union de Transports Aériens. 2 Iceland. 1 Air Atlanta Icelandic. 3 Luxembourg. 1 Luck Air. Oceania. 1 Australia. 1 Australia Asia Airlines. 2 Qantas. Records, edit. There were 3 significant commercial around-the-world record-setting flights flown by 747 SP, 2 operated by Pan Am and the other operated by United Airlines, with the aircraft being loaned to Friendship Foundation, in order to raise money for the foundation. Those flights are 1 Liberty Bell Express, flown from New York /JFK May 13, 1976. 2 stopovers at Palam Airport, New Delhi and Tokyo Haneda Airport. The round-the-world flight took 46 hours and 26 minutes over 23,137 miles. To Pan Am Flight 50, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Pan Am. Flown October 28, 1977 from San Francisco, with a time duration of 54 hours, 7 minutes, 12 seconds. 3 stopovers at Heathrow Airport, Cape Town and Auckland. Flight 50 flew over both the North Pole and the South Pole. 3 Friendship 1, flown January 29-31, 1988 from Seattle, to raise funds for Friendship Foundation. 2 stopovers were made, at Athens and Taipei. The record lasted less than a month, as it was beaten by a Gulfstream 4. The round-the-world flight took 35 hours and 54 minutes over 23,125 miles. 4 in 1976 of Boeing 747 SP, ZS SPA, of South African Airways was flown non-stop from the Boeing Company factory in Seattle to Cape Town during its delivery flight. This was a world record for an UN refueled commercial aircraft. This record was held for over a decade. Incidents and accidents, edit. 1 on the 19th of February, 1985, China Airlines Flight 006, a 747 SP-09, aircraft registration N4522V, with 274 passengers and crew on a flight from Chiang Kai-shek Airport to Los Angeles suffered an in-flight failure on engine number 4. While the flight crew attempted to restore power, the aircraft rolled to the right and started a steep descent from the cruising altitude of 41,000 feet, pulling 4.8 g and 5.1 g on 2 occasions. The captain managed to stabilize the aircraft at 9,500 feet and the aircraft diverted to San Francisco, which was 550 kilometers, 297.0 mi, 341.8 mi, away. 2 passengers were injured and the aircraft suffered major structural damage. 2 on the 5th of October, 1998, a South African Airways Boeing 747 SP-44, ZSSPF, operated by LAM Mozambique Airlines suffered an engine failure shortly after takeoff from Maputo International Airport, Mozambique. The No-3 engine suffered an uncontained failure. Flying debris caused damage to the No-4 engine and the wing. A fire broke out that couldn't be extinguished immediately, forcing an emergency landing. All 66 people on board survived. As a result, the aircraft was withdrawn from service and scrapped. 3 on the 15th of January, 2004, Iran Air Flight 800, a 747 SP-86, aircraft registration EPIAC, faced hydraulic malfunction shortly after takeoff from Beijing Capital International Airport. The aircraft made an emergency landing, but the front landing gear collapsed. All people on board survived with no injuries. 4 during the Yemeni civil war, a 747 SP owned by the President of Yemen, 70YMN, was struck by gunfire on the 19th of March, 2015. Subsequent photographs show that the aircraft was then completely destroyed by fire afterward. 5 on the 27th of August, 2020, a Las Vegas Sands Boeing 747 SP-21, VQBMS, was damaged beyond repair during Hurricane Laura while undergoing maintenance at a hangar. The right-hand wing fractured and the wing of another aircraft, believed to be BBJN-836BA, cut through the forward fuselage. Aircraft on display, edit. This section has multiple issues. Please help improve it or discuss these issues on the talk page. Learn how and when to remove these template messages. This section needs additional citations for verification. February 2024. This section relies largely or entirely on a single source. February 2024. 1 and ex-South African Airways 747 SP nicknamed Maluti is on static display at Rand Airport in South Africa, where it is maintained by the South African Airways Museum Society. 2 NASA 747 SPN 747 Na, Sofia, ex-Pan Am Clipper Lindbergh, is preserved at the Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, Arizona. Specifications, edit. Model 747 SP. Cockpit crew 3. 2 class seats 331, 28F plus 303Y, or 343, 30F plus 313Y. 3 class seats 276, 25F plus 57J plus 194Y. Exit limit 400. Overall length 184 feet 9 in, 56.31 m. Wingspan 195 feet 8 in, 59.64 m. Wing area 5,500 square feet, 511 m. Overall height 65 feet 10 in, 20.07 m. Operating empty weight 325,263,336,870 pound, 147.54152.att. Maximum takeoff weight 700,000 pound, 317,500 kilograms. Maximum landing weight 450,000 pound, 204,100 kilograms. Engine models, X4, Pratt & Whitney JT9D7, a /R/F/F/FW/J. Rolls-Royce RB211-524, B2/C2/D4. Engine thrust, X4, JT9D, 46,950/50,000 lbf. 209222 kN. RB211, 49,150/51,980 lbf, 219231 kN. Maximum speed Mach 0.92, 542 kN, 1004 km per hour, 624 miles per hour. Cruising speed Mach 0.86, 493 kN, 914 km per hour, 568 miles per hour. Service ceiling 45,100 feet, 13,700 m. Maximum range 6,615 mi, 12,320 kilometers, 7,650 mi. Max fuel capacity 50,360 US gal, 190,630 L. Note: 1 carried JT9D, 233 passengers. See also, edit. Related development. 1 Boeing 747. Aircraft of comparable role, configuration, and era. 1 Ilyushin Il-86. 2 Lockheed L-1011 Tristar. 3 McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Related lists. 1 List of Boeing 747 operators. 2 List of civil aircraft. References, edit.